Thomas McDonough, and welcome to McDonough's Hammer of Truth. Now, because of social distancing, we've not had a lot of time to be together, so I actually came up with two movies for McDonough's Hammer of Truth. They are both foreign movies, and I was actually looking forward to that in terms of horror movies to watch. And our first one is entitled The School 2018. It is an Australian movie directed by Storm Ashwood. I'm up on the name, if that's a real name or not. Starring Megan Drury. Now, Megan Drury stars as a doctor who also has to deal with a son who is in a coma. Probably not just a coma, but also on life support since he was in a drowning accident. And she ends up in this abandoned school that is filled with both children, well, not just children, but children who are in a Mad Max persona, as well as, we'll say, demons, devils, and ghosts. And I should mention the whole concept, what was pushing her was she was looking for her lost son. Now, watching the movie itself, it's definitely a combination of Lord of the Flies plus Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, I think. And looking at some of the reviews for the school itself, some people liked it, some people did not like it. If I had to rate it, I'd say it'd be a 2 out of 5 for Hammers. In terms of, it's an enjoyable story, but the scares were not exactly there. Where she is dealing essentially with all these kids who've gone into a feral state. And it goes back and forth between her dealing with her husband as well as her son. I think they were looking at taking him off life support. As well as she is in this school looking for her son as well. And I think Kevin can support me on this one, that abandoned schools or empty schools are quite terrifying. I bring this up because both Kevin and I worked for our school maintenance, me during the summer, Kevin during after special programs. And if you're in a school that's empty by yourself, it could be day or night, it is extremely scary. The movie itself is pretty good, except I think, again, they were kind of shoving a lot of different tropes in there as well. That's why I gave it a 2 out of 5, because she was dealing with these essentially ghosts of kids who were trying to help her, than kids who were trying to hurt her. That's why I got the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome situation from. Is the school worth a watch? Well, yes, it is. It's definitely streaming. I think it's on Hulu. I'm not too sure. It might be Vudu. Is it okay? Yes. But I think they were trying to throw some old tropes in there as well. As I mentioned with the Mad Max tropes, with the scare of the schools, but they had a few good ideas in there as well. Here's this woman who just can't let go of her son. That works pretty good, I'd have to say. Now, the second movie, some of you may have heard of already, and that is Trollhunter, a 2010 movie directed by, and I don't want to be like Kevin on this one, so let me get the pronunciation correct, Johansson. Arden, oh my God.
The English teacher who can't pronounce anything.
Yes, it is a Norwegian found footage movie. Now, when I looked it up as well, it was mentioned as a mockumentary. However, I didn't see too much in the way of comedy in this movie itself. Kevin, quit playing with your booze.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now, okay, Trollhunter 2010, and starring Otto Jespersen. It deals with a college student group. They started off looking to see if someone is illegally poaching bears, because I guess in Norway they have a little bit stricter gun control as well as when it comes to hunting certain animals. Well, it turns out the person they're investigating is actually a troll hunter, and he allows them to accompany them while he is hunting trolls. Not hunting trolls to eradicate them, but essentially to keep them away from populated areas. Now, in terms of hammers, I give this one a 3 out of 5. It was actually a good story. Now, in Norway, they actually have a lot of our, I have to say, our childhood nursery rhyme stories about trolls, about who's that trip-trapping on my bridge, about smelling the blood of Christian men. I mean, that's something we can fit into the abyss. The main character asked the film crew, "Are any of you Christian or believe in Jesus?" As it turns out, trolls can smell the blood of Christian men. And one person did mention that, yes, he was a Christian, and unfortunately that was going to hurt him later on. And they even had a part where he's using goats to try to lure one particular troll in, and he had 3 goats on top of the bridge, so it was definitely the 3 billy goats gruff. Turns out that comes from ancient Norway. Now, I find it very interesting how this relates to a lot of our childhood nursery, not just nursery rhymes, but nursery stories as well. And it was actually pretty good, because even if you think, okay, trolls are kind of not that scary, I think they went in the right way. They added issues as well about climate change, rabies too. If I had to have a negative on Trollhunter, is when they got near the end, they just crammed too much in there. That essentially the Trollhunter was working for a government branch, and government branch didn't want to be recorded, and they were just cramming in there. And not to mention, one of our biggest issues for horror movies, foreign horror movies, reading the subtitles as versus checking out what's going on screen. I think it's lost in the interpretation. So again, The School, I would give a 2 out of 5. Trollhunter, I'd give a 3 out of 5. It was actually a pretty good story, I'd have to say.
Combined, it's a 5 out of 5.
What's that?
I said combined, it's a 5 out of 5. It's a perfect movie.
There you go.
Well, no, it'd be a 5 out of 10. You're not combining the other 5.
Well, Trollhunter, a mockumentary, because a lot of the leads are popular stand-up Norwegian comics, and I didn't really see too much of that in there in terms of comedy. I thought, it was an interesting thing. It's kind of like how with my students, we do the Dark Ages. We talk about the influence that history has on our very popular nursery rhymes, and there was actually some reality to it. If I look at some negatives for both these movies, is they're trying to cram too much in there too late. They let the story develop as smoothly as they could have. So, but I have no doubt, I would not be surprised if there's some American Hollywood company that says, "Oh, what a great idea, let's copy it," and they just totally crap all over it. Make sure you have a good story, make sure you fill it out completely, then go forward. So that is my Hammer of Truth segment.
Boom.